Someone falls on the sidewalk in front of you. Do you help? Now picture the same person falling in a packed subway car, 40 people standing around them. Are you more likely to help or less? Most people guess the same wrong answer. They think more people means more help. Someone will surely step in. Someone else will call for help. But your brain does the opposite of what you'd expect, and it does it without asking your permission. This is the story of why crowds make us colder, and why one of the most famous explanations for it turned out to be built on a lie. In March of 1964, a young woman named Kitty Genovese was murdered outside her apartment building in Queens, New York. 2 weeks later, the New York Times ran a story claiming 38 witnesses watched from their windows and did nothing. Not one called the police. The story spread everywhere. Newspapers ran it. Professors taught it. It became shorthand for something broken in modern life, proof that cities had made people numb to each other's suffering. There was just one problem. It wasn't true. Later investigations, including detailed reporting decades afterward, found that the number 38 was invented by an editor talking to a police official over lunch, without real verification. Several neighbors did call the police. One woman ran outside and held Genovese as she lay dying. The attack happened in stages, in darkness, in a way that made it genuinely hard for any single witness to understand what they were seeing or hear it clearly. So why does this matter? Because the myth was wrong, but the science it inspired was real. Two psychologists, Darley and Latané, read about the case and asked a sharper question. Not why were people in New York cruel? Why does the presence of other people change what any one person does? In 1968, they ran an experiment. Participants sat alone in a room, supposedly having a discussion over an intercom with other people in other rooms. Partway through, one voice on the intercom began to choke and call for help, sounding like a seizure. Some participants believed they were the only one who could hear it. Others believed 4 or 5 other people could hear it too. Here's the twist. When participants believed they were alone with the victim, nearly all of them helped immediately. When they believed 4 other people were also listening, fewer than a third helped at all, and those who did took far longer to act. Nothing about the emergency changed. Only the number of people who might also be responsible changed. Darley and Latané called this diffusion of responsibility. Your brain quietly does the math. If 5 people can act, your personal share of the responsibility drops to 1/5. It doesn't feel like an excuse, it feels like a fact, and your brain treats it as one. Think about what that means. You are not becoming a worse person in a crowd. You are running a calculation you don't know you're running. There's a second mechanism working alongside it, and it's just as strange. Psychologists call it pluralistic ignorance. Imagine you see something that might be an emergency, but you're not sure. Smoke seeping under a door, a person slumped on a bench. You look around at everyone else's face, searching for a signal. If they look calm, you assume it must be nothing. What you don't realize is that everyone else is doing exactly the same thing. Looking at you, reading your calm expression as proof that everything is fine. A room full of people who are each individually uncertain can produce a group that looks completely certain nothing is wrong, and the emergency gets treated as normal because everyone borrowed their confidence from everyone else. In one striking demonstration, researchers piped smoke into a room where participants sat filling out a questionnaire. Alone, most people got up and reported it within minutes. In a room with other participants who had secretly been told to ignore the smoke and stay calm, the real participant usually stayed too, sitting in a haze, glancing sideways, waiting for someone else to react first. Nobody in that room believed they were making the wrong choice. Each person genuinely believed the calm of the others was information. That's what makes this effect so hard to fight. It doesn't feel like fear or apathy from the inside. It feels like reading the room correctly. So the bystander effect isn't really about crowds making people cruel. It's about 2 automatic systems, diffusion of responsibility and social proof, both firing at once, both quietly telling you that inaction is the safe, correct choice. And here's the part that should unsettle you a little. This isn't a flaw that belongs to strangers in a subway or people in a news story from decades ago. It's a feature of how every human brain processes shared responsibility, including yours. Researchers have replicated these findings across dozens of studies in different countries with different scenarios, from car accidents to online harassment to fires. The pattern holds. More witnesses, less individual action, almost every time. There is a way to break it, and it's disarmingly simple. Studies on emergency response training show that singling someone out breaks the spell instantly. Not someone call an ambulance. Instead, point at one specific person. You, in the blue jacket, call an ambulance now. The moment responsibility has a name attached to it, the diffusion collapses, and people act almost as fast as they would completely alone. That single detail rewrites how we should think about the original story from Queens. It was never really about 38 cold-hearted witnesses in the dark. It was about how easily responsibility disperses among people who never got to become individuals to each other, who were just shapes at other windows, each one assuming someone else already had it handled. The myth was wrong about the facts. It was accidentally right about something deeper. We don't become bad people around others. We become anonymous to each other. And anonymity is what lets responsibility slip through everyone's hands at once. So the next time you're in a crowd and something feels off, remember what your brain is quietly doing behind the scenes. It isn't measuring the danger, it's measuring the other people. And if you're ever the one who needs help, don't ask the crowd. Look for one face and ask that person by name. Someone falls on the sidewalk in front of you. This time, you already know what your brain will try to tell you. It will tell you someone else has it handled. It's lying.